So how do you get photos like that? Hey, Destis and Bride friends, the Desti Marathon is going, and I am super excited to share this interview with you. This photographer is absolutely nuts. Like, his photos are crazy gorgeous. I was so nervous to ask for this interview, and then he said yes, and he had really great things to share, so I'm so excited. I have Stanley Babb of Stanlo Photography here today to share all of his advice. He tells his story about how he got started in destination weddings, and then I actually started asking the questions about like what happened, how did this photo happen, and the creativity and the tips are awesome. So this is the episode for you to know how to secure an amazing photographer, what you should be thinking about, what you should be doing, how you can get these crazy photos, all these Instagrammable moments that go on. He talks about how to really get these going and just gives some really great tips on what you should be thinking about with these photos, because these photos you have forever. So I used a lot of his tips for my own wedding. Stanley, thank you so very much for this interview. You obviously are crazy busy. I'm watching you blow up even more and more. You guys, I'll have links to everything in the description below. And then also a nice little photo gallery of his pictures waiting for you in DESTILAND. Link below as well. And yeah, so I don't even know what else to say about it, because these photos though, like seriously, nuts. Absolutely nuts. Yeah, crazy. Wild. So this interview that I'm sharing came from season 1 of the Desti Guide to Destination Weddings podcast. Season 2 is coming, and it will be all videos every single day. But until then, and it's coming January 1st, 2019. But until then, we're bringing you brand new episodes every single day in December. And today is no different. So I hope that you enjoy it. Make sure that you subscribe and ding that button. And if you're a Desti getting married, I want to know. So hashtag I'm a Desti in the comments below and let me know where you're getting married and when you're getting married. And help me help you. If you have any questions, as usual, leave them in the comments below. And I will see you tomorrow. Here is my interview with Stanley Babb of Stanlo Photography. Bye, guys.
Hey, good day. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Just doing some editing today.
Oh man, I really appreciate you. I know it's been really hard to connect, but your work is amazing, and I'm just like, this
Thank
would
you.
be so great to have you on the podcast. So, hi and welcome. I guess I have so many questions, but just to start off, what made you decide to do destination wedding photography?
So basically, I'm originally from the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I also like to travel a lot. So with doing Bahamas weddings, I started getting like a lot of inquiries for like Jamaica and Mexico and a lot of different places. So I mean, like it's really a plus for me because I like to travel
Right.
along with shooting the wedding as well. So
That
that's what mainly got me into it, the
okay.
travel part of it.
Have you always been a photographer?
No, I mean, I've probably been doing photography now for last maybe like 4 years.
And what were you in your prior life?
I was doing IT. I used to do,
Really?
yes, telecommunications.
That's so crazy. Your work is just like you're ridiculously creative, and it just seems like you've been doing this like since you were a child. Were you into photography at all when you like before you decided to just go for it?
Not at all.
So
Not at all. I
you just
mean, the way I picked it up is I basically bought a camp. Me and my family we used to travel a lot, so we used to go like a lot of far places like Japan, Germany. We used to be all over. But after the trip, we would never have no really like good pictures. So I just wanted to buy like a professional camera so I could document that. So I mean, after I think it was Panama. We went to Panama. We did a trip. I started taking pictures there and started posting them on like social media and stuff, getting a lot of good feedback.
yeah.
And then, people started asking me, how much would I charge to do a shoot? And I was like, what, I can actually make money from this. So yeah, that's how I basically started off, shooting.
Wow.
And then, I used to like practice on a lot of my friends and stuff like that.
Yeah, and look at you now. Oh my goodness. So what a difference 4 years makes. Like that's just crazy to
Yeah,
me.
a lot of YouTube videos.
So I guess do you have any tips for destination brides? Like I like to say desties, but when we decide to look for our photographer, what should we be looking for?
I would say, you want to find someone with the experience, because like destination weddings, you kind of have to know. It's harder than it's harder than than a traditional wedding because it's in a totally different place, and you need some of that experience because they have to kind of know what to expect and how to react when stuff happen on the day. Also to get the best results.
Yeah.
I mean, but that still goes with saying that, you look for the same quality. You look for a photographer that suits the style that you want, because, everyone has different styles that they like. So you don't want to get a vintage photographer if that is not what you're into.
Right.
So it's still about the style, but definitely you want to look for someone with the experience, of doing destination weddings because, like I say, it's a different experience. You kind of have to know what to do as far as like the timeline of the day and stuff like that. Because it's both you and the client that more or less won't know
Hmm.
the area that you'll be shooting.
Right. When you like say when someone chooses to hire you and it's a place that you've never been, do you go in advance and try to just figure like how do you get you just seem so like you've just been everywhere and you just know everything. So how do you prepare yourself for
No, you
that
just
specific day?
I'd say probably just come in like a day earlier, to kind of check things out. If it isn't a place that that I've been before. So I definitely, like I said, I definitely check it out. Then I have a questionnaire that I sent out like a week before the wedding, where I kind of get like some expectations and kind of just see what the timeline is going to be like, so I can kind of know exactly how the light is going to be in a certain area and how much time we have to do a certain set of portraits.
Ah, okay. So that makes sense. So the questionnaire is really helpful with that. So
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. I'm having my wedding in Mexico. And we were looking for a lot of different people. And, we ended up choosing a couple that is local to Mexico and like they have
Uh,
really great work. So they sent us a questionnaire immediately. Like as soon as I reached out to see if they were available, they immediately kind of sent out what do you like about us? What do you think that you want? It just was an immediate kind of they're interviewing me and I thought that was really interesting, but it really made sense. So for you to talk about the questionnaire, that sounds pretty cool too.
yeah.
Hmm.
And see, I normally send out my questionnaire a bit later because so much things change.
Right.
And then you answer a certain amount of questions up front, and you might not even know the answers to the questions that you answered. That's why I try to send it out a bit later.
True. Yeah, they were asking questions and I had to do research. Like it felt like I was doing homework to make sure I knew what I was talking about. Let me look through this and really answer this the right way. So I'm really excited about that too.
Which
So
part of Mexico you gonna get married?
it'll be south of Playa del Carmen, so the Riviera Maya.
Wow. I
Yeah.
I have a potential wedding there in when is it? September?
Yeah. Have
No,
you been?
August. In August. I haven't been before.
Ah, yeah, it's beautiful. We went when we were first dating, and once we decided to get married, when we were thinking of locations, we decided to go back there because we just loved it. So we got this beach club. It's kind of cool. I'll send you pictures.
Isn't it like a newer hotel? One of their newer hotels?
Our hotel that we're staying at, I think, opened in 2009 or 2010, but there's always new stuff that's
Yeah,
coming.
that's still kind of new though.
Yeah, they are. They're
Yeah.
really really great. And our actual wedding is going to be about 30 minutes south, and it's a private beach club that we found, and it's just going to be we're really excited about it. It'll be private. We didn't want to get married actually on a resort. So we wanted just that privacy, so it should be pretty cool.
All right, sounds good. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, what are your thoughts with that? Between people doing the resort wedding versus the private off of
Mm,
resorts.
I guess it. I mean, I really don't. It really doesn't. That part doesn't really matter to me
No.
because either you can get good results from either. It depends on the resort too because some of those resorts are really nice. So I mean, you can get pretty much the same results
Yeah.
depending on the area you're using.
Okay. What is your favorite resort right now? What was your favorite, your favorite resort?
Um, I would say in Bimini, Bahamas, the the Resort World.
Okay. And that's home for you, right?
Not that part of the not that part of the Bahamas, but
But
yeah,
but the Bahamas
yeah. I've
is.
been there. I've been there like 3 times. No, this is my no second time. So I've been there twice already.
Okay. The Bimini. I'm writing that
Yeah.
down as I'm taking notes. Okay. And then I guess how does someone hire you? Like, instead of, like, say my photographer's already in Mexico. So when you're bringing your photographer to your location, what is the process with that?
All right. So the way we accept our inquiries are via email. It's via a contact form on my website. So when you fill out the contact form, we send you over the wedding collections. And for destination weddings, it's the wedding collection. We have two different packages. So it's either you pay for our regular wedding collections and you pay like travel and stay,
Okay.
or we have like packages that includes travel and everything.
They already included, so you handle that
Yes.
part. Oh, okay. Is that the biggest difference in the two packages, or is it like the same amount of time that you're there?
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah. I mean, because you basically, I mean, when someone books you for like, if someone tries to book like 6 hours, I mean, you're there in the total different country. So, one likely you'll still be there shooting, you'll still be there. So,
Yeah, you're already there, so you may as well keep it
might as well
going.
finish it off.
Yeah. Is that a thing? Like, I feel like if you're gonna be there, do people have you come just for the specific day, or is it usually like the full weekend? Since most destination weddings are, full weekends.
No, no, you mainly come for the specific day, but sometimes you have persons that want they'll hire you to do their dinner, like the rehearsal dinner.
Ah,
And then
okay.
normally, like the off time that you there, you just kind of get in, you just kind of getting to know like the guests and stuff like that. So it goes that much better on the day. Because if your photographer is your friend on the day, it's so much easier. By the time you already spend the first day or two with the photographer, it's almost like he's a friend,
Right.
depending on the photography you have.
Right. That, yeah, you're just much more comfortable at that point, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that makes sense. What would you like? What do you wish that every Desti knew before they decided to have a destination wedding?
When I wish that everyone knew. Um, I guess just how to have a good knowledge of the area, before the wedding. That helps if they know what they want.
Mm, okay. And how do you handle the crazy requests? Like I think the first picture I saw that was yours is this bride who is on a jet ski in her gown. Like, how do you even deal with, do you just roll with it? How does that kind of stuff
No,
happen?
see, some of those stuff just happen. See, that's the good thing about destination weddings. You don't know what's gonna happen because everything is different. You don't know. You literally don't. You That's the thing. You can't really plan it. So that's why you have to have a. That's why I talked about someone who's really experienced in them because you don't really plan and you have to like really think on your toes to make something happen.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we didn't plan to go on the jet ski. It just like we was walking down the beach to take some pictures, and someone just happened to be there with a jet ski that allowed us to, to get those shots.
Seriously? That was just
Yeah,
random. Wow.
that was really random. And the thing about it, she didn't really have like a big reception right after. So if an accident happened where she may have got wet, it wouldn't have been like a big deal. But they didn't get wet.
That's funny. Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
I just assumed that was like a plan, like that
yeah,
had to
yeah,
have been planned. Oh, that's crazy. She's crazy for that one. You got it. Yeah.
yeah. That's one of my New York brides.
Do you have like people? How do people normally find you? Is it social media?
Yeah, it's from like social media, Instagram, Facebook, Google. Yeah, it's mostly basically online and on word of mouth.
That's pretty cool. And yeah, you have great reviews. Like you're definitely making a name for yourself. So
Thank you.
you have figured out what you are on this planet for sure. Because yeah, I couldn't imagine you. I mean, I obviously don't know you, but just looking at your work, I couldn't imagine you not being a photographer, like a destination wedding specific photographer. It's crazy.
So when you get married, and finish all of that stuff, will you still be doing like destination blogs and stuff like
I will. That's the funny. So
that?
this is what's crazy about it. I personally cared nothing about getting married. I thought nothing of it. It wasn't a rush. I've known my fiance for my whole life, so it just didn't really matter for me. So, but I swear he proposed in the Dominican Republic, and probably from that moment on, I've been head on in love with the idea. And then once we knew we were going to do a destination wedding, looking at the you get your magazines and you start to look at stuff, and there just weren't a lot, if any, of like just there wasn't a presence of Black destination brides. Like there are Black bride magazines, but then you have to kind of dig to find the destination weddings. It's like they're hidden. So it just kind of it was frustrating for me, and I was like, you know what? I'll just start off with blogging about my own stuff. So I do my daily journal and just I'll do my little tips as I go along. And then it's just growing like, you know what? This could be a really great, a podcast. And now I've got all these dreams and all these things. And I started to meet people. And, I'm meeting, I interview the past Destis as well. And they talk about how they did their planning and give tips on, and they all say, I wish that I had something like this. Like, I wish that there was some sort of resource that existed to just tell you how much stuff costs and what you should be expecting. So now I am so fully in love with this, and I'm all about weddings all day, every day now. And it's crazy to think about it. Yeah.
So you're gonna make a magazine after that?
That's funny. I just maybe, who knows? We'll see where we can take this. Quite possibly. I'll need a photographer for sure because that is not my thing. My selfies suck. So I have no idea what I would be doing with photography. I can say, yes, that's great. So, oh man. So, are you excited about any upcoming locations this year? Any new things you've heard about?
Um, I mean, I'm about to go to some new locations this year. I have, like I mentioned earlier, I'm about to close on this one for Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have like a wedding in Toronto this year,
Ooh,
like at a castle. So I'm looking forward to that.
wow. Are
I
they
mean,
from? Are they from
yeah,
Toronto?
they're from Toronto, so
That's pretty cool.
it's destination win for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's a few areas I'm looking forward to going this year.
Oh, okay. How far in advance do you recommend that people start to look for their photographer?
Um, I would say as soon as you get your venue,
Mm,
because yeah, as soon as you get the venue, because a lot of good photographers they normally booked up pretty fast. So especially if you have like a popular date, you know, like like near a holiday or something like that,
right.
or it's like in the summer if you're doing like a summer wedding. Um, yeah, summer weddings are tend to be popular for destination weddings because it's colder in a lot of the states.
Right.
So they try to do it in the summer. So definitely, if you have like a popular day, or I mean, it's just good to get it as soon as possible after the venue because you never know, that because I get tons of inquiries and I'm already booked, and that's just people who had their venue from a long time ago, and they just kind of come in last minute, just assuming that you can automatically get the photographer you want.
Right. Yeah, yeah, that's a really great point. I interviewed one Desti and she picked her photographer before she even picked her location, and I thought that was hilarious. But it makes sense. She wanted the photographer and she worked backwards. She found out when the photographer made sure the photographer was available, and then she looked to try to find her spot, and I thought, huh. But yeah, I guess if you know what you want, then you better get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about like, well, say I'm getting married. Yeah, we have a popular date. We're getting married Memorial Day weekend, so that's May 27th.
Yeah.
And we've had a 2-year engagement, so we booked everything way in advance. Like we had to get the resort to open up earlier for us to even do a room block because they normally don't do them that far in advance. So
Yeah.
we've done it that way, but when people are thinking about their dates and the locations, what are your, like, do you have any advice for that as far as just thinking of, just what sorts of things they should be thinking about when they're in the date slash location stage?
I mean, I guess you don't want to pick. Depending on how much people you want your wedding, you don't want to pick somewhere too far. So your guests
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be there, and then you want to pick a time more or less that's special to you, and also convenient to other people. You don't want to do something. I know a lot of people do like try to do it on Thanksgiving, and some people already have other plans, so they're not able to make it, stuff like that. So I guess it's up to your preference. Some people do. Some people intentionally book it on bad dates just so they could have a little bit of people to their wedding. To
Are you?
spend less.
I never thought about that, but yeah, I guess you pick a horrible date. We're getting married on Christmas, so if you can't come, it's okay.
Yeah, some people do that. Some people do destination weddings solely because they're like a lot of popular people, and they say that, hey, if we did it home, we would probably have like 400 people. So we wanted to have a destination wedding where we know a lot of people wouldn't come. So we spend less, plus we still have a nice wedding.
Would you say that that's one of the perks of having a destination wedding?
Yeah, because you pay a lot you pay most of the money on the food. The food that you pay for the guests. So
Right.
definitely the lower the number, the better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. Tell me that's so true.
And then you have a lot of people who don't even have passports and stuff like that. So
Yeah. How many destination weddings have you done about, if you don't know exactly?
mm, I don't even know now. Probably, I would say probably over 60.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Is there any time of year that you don't work?
Not currently.
No, you take it?
Not currently. I
Okay.
think I tried to take it slow September this year. I took it a little slow September for this year, but um, no, it's all year round.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, I guess that makes sense when you're dealing with people from all over the world and that are getting married everywhere then.
Yeah,
So
because this,
your wedding season is year round. That's pretty cool.
yeah, starts from yeah, yeah. Like this year, we actually had a wedding like the end of December, and then we start off the year like right away. So it was, yeah, we haven't stopped.
And you say we, do you have a team?
Yeah, so we yeah, I contract people in depending on the wedding and stuff like that. I have people that actually help out and second shooters that come in. So
I was wondering.
I mostly do use a team.
Okay, you have like your specific people that you go to?
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Is it normally just two or what's a typical team consist of?
So the typical team for a lot of my collections are two photographers and an assistant to help out with moving around.
Gotcha.
For destination weddings, I normally get a photographer that could help out too. So just be most of the time, like for a destination wedding, it'll just be two people because it gets more expensive
Right,
to
for
try and
us to have
travel
to
with the whole
pay.
team. Yeah.
Right. Huh. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's two. Um, any tips for because my wedding's around the corner. So any tips for like the getting ready photos?
All right. Yeah. So with the get ready photos, you definitely want to have the room clean. That's like the number one tip because
Uh,
when you're taking pictures, it's almost impossible to take good pictures if the room is dirty. I mean,
'Cause you have to pick your specific spaces and
yeah.
stuff like that. Okay, so
And
have it
then
clean.
if the photographer decides to try to get it clean, it just takes time away from everything else. Like trying to get people to clean it and bring stuff over here. So I would say like just have like everyone put their stuff in another room, and then when they go to get ready, they just take whatever they need into the main room.
Ah,
So it's that keep the room clean. Yeah, robes, like having some nice robes while you're getting ready, and actually trying on the robes before the wedding
yeah. Why do you say
because
that? Just something
because there's a lot of weddings I see they buy the robes too small. So people have on like jeans with the robes, or they have on like just a bunch of other stuff with the robe just because it's too small and they have to have on stuff with it. So those pictures don't look as nice.
oh,
And you have
like
a
they don't
nice.
want to show too much, so they're kind of
No, some of the robes are just really too way too
like
small.
way too
So
small.
yeah, so it's like nothing you could even do even if you wanted to. Even if you wanted to just wear it like that, it couldn't work.
Clean your room,
So,
try on your robes, and give us another one.
and then with the wedding dress, you want to try to see if you can get at least one of those hangers, a nice hanger for the dress. So
Ah,
when you take pictures of the dress, you have like a nice hanger that says bride or something, just anything other than just the regular hanger.
that makes sense.
Um, what else? What else could I say? Getting ready. Yeah, and that's basically it. Just I would say choose bridesmaids that helping you in your day and not stressing you out. Because I had this wedding, like a recent wedding, where like the like we was running a little bit late because the dress had some issues, and the person was like kind of help fixing the dress. The person that actually designed the dress, she was there fixing the dress. So the
Ah,
bridesmaids keep like counting down the time. Oh, it's 2:32,
like you're not helping
two
me right
thirty
now. Like
three.
shut up.
Yeah, like
Yeah, shut up.
yeah. So it's definitely a plus to have pleasant people around you today. Someone that's not gonna send you crazy right before you walk down the aisle. Because when we take the pictures, it's impossible to tell a story of an amazing story with you like kind of mad or scared or like the more peaceful you are in your day, that's what we're gonna get. That's what we're gonna record.
Right. Do you ever like when people are upset or if there is some sort of drama because things happen, do you continue to take photos and then you cut them out later or do you just wait?
I mean, I try to calm the bride down a little bit. But I mean, we have to document the day, so we still have to take those pictures. But with saying that if we can, like we still try to tell a story. So if we take like 5 pictures and we see a frown, and then we see a smile, we probably leave out the frown. But if
Gotcha.
that's if the only thing we have are the frowns,
Frown.
then
Then
you
that's what it
can't you
is.
can't leave it out because then you won't have the pictures.
Yeah.
So
Ah,
yeah,
okay. And what about because like you know how when you have I see the staged photos with the ring and the shoes or the dress, like how do you figure those out? Do they tell you in advance what they want or do you kind of just wing it?
yeah. You just kind of look at what they have and look at the environment that you have to work with, and then you just have to make something happen. It's not really, planning it. Some people have the stuff set up when you come to the room, but then most of the time they don't have the eye that you have. So most of the time you don't even use that setup that they already,
It's like, yeah,
that they
no,
already
like, yeah,
set up.
this is garbage. No, let me
Yeah.
tell you what to do.
Yeah, pretty
uh,
much.
and what about grooms? What should grooms? Grooms can clean their room as well. But when you do the
Yeah.
getting ready for grooms and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, the grooms are pretty standard. They should just have their, I mean, yeah, with the grooms are pretty straightforward. Once they have a clean room, it's easier for the grooms.
Yeah. So it
But
really
yeah,
is
because
easier.
the grooms don't have no robes and stuff like that, so it's pretty easier. It's pretty much easier for them once they have like nice details, like like a nice watch, a nice belt. Like at least get those stuff because some people like to use like their old belt that they had for a while, or
They
like
should get new stuff,
a
right?
scratch. At least a belt,
See, yeah, I'm
like
talking
it's
to mine.
inexpensive.
Yeah, he needs to. Actually, I take it back. The only thing that he really cares to have new is he has his tugs and his shoes. But yes, I'm trying to tell him I personally want everything to be new, but that's just me. So yeah, he can have some
Yeah, I
favorite
mean
things.
some of those stuff are pretty inexpensive, so like you know you just have them new. And then I mean, if you take a picture, if they have like their cologne that they want you to take a picture of with their accessories, at least have the cover for the cologne and stuff like that on it.
The top, yeah.
Stuff like that, yeah. Like small stuff like that, but the guys aren't. The guys aren't. It isn't really that much with the guys. It's just a lot with the brides. They wanna make sure they have their stuff laid out. Oh, and it's also good for the bride to have the rings in her room.
I was wondering about that. How does
Yeah.
that work when doesn't traditionally like the best man have the rings?
Yeah, so if it's in her room after you finish shooting it, you can always find a way to get it to the best man before the wedding. So
Ah,
that's pretty much easy. But it's good to have all of the accessories there in the bride's room. So when you're shooting them, you get to do it right then. See, the issue would happen sometime is you would say, hey, some photographers like to say, hey, all right, since we didn't get the rings, we try to shoot it later on during the reception. And sometimes you may forget, so that's the issue with it.
ah,
Sometimes as the wedding goes on and everything goes on, you totally forget about the rings.
yeah, that makes
So
sense.
that's
Yeah.
why I try to do them early with everything else.
Thank you for that because I've been looking at wedding photos and I'm always wondering how on earth do they have the rings? Like, how do they do this? So, yeah, now I
Yeah.
know. Make sure
And then
that you have.
also it's good to have like the invitations too. If you really like the invitations that you have, it's really good to have the invitations there. Because I say if you really like it, some people don't really like their invitations, so they don't want it, with their stuff. So if you really think that your invitations suit your attire, Then we try to photograph them together too, with the shoes and stuff like that, and the earrings and stuff like that.
Okay. Thank you. How do you calm down the nervous bride? Just nervous about taking pictures or just, the awkward. It seems like everybody just looks like a model all the time, but they can't really be this way in real life, right?
Yeah, I mean, the way you probably could calm them down, like you just give them good direction. And then when you get the pictures, you just kind of show them the pictures so they can see that it looks nice. Then they get more
Ah.
relaxed from there.
So you take it and then you show them and say, like, look, this
Yeah.
really is good, and it makes you more comfortable.
Yes.
That's cool. How can we practice? Like, should we practice in advance to be more comfortable? Is there anything that I can do to be really
No.
comfortable? No.
I would say just pick a good photographer and show up on your wedding day and do what you're supposed to do.
Okay. Okay, that's fair. I'll accept that one. What about the first look photos? What are your thoughts on the first look versus when people wait until they go actually to the ceremony?
All right, so with the first look photos, a lot of people that do the first look are normally people that have their wedding kind of late and they don't want to risk it going into the dark. So sometimes you do the first look photos and then it allows you to get all of the portraits out of the way before the wedding. So you don't have to kind of worry about all that stuff afterwards. And it gives the bride and the groom time to have like a nice intimate moment. But the only people who do those first looks are people who aren't really super traditional. So, like I say, it is a plus. It is a plus at times. It is a plus because, like I say, you get to do all of the pictures before.
And then you just go straight from the ceremony to having a good time.
Because sometimes even like with the destination weddings, it's pretty hot. Some people have it like outside on the beach, and like you're sweating.
That's
Like
me.
it's like impossible not to sweat if you stand in the sun for 30 minutes, direct sunlight on top.
Yeah. Because you do editing, do you end up, like, are you able to edit out sweat and stuff like that?
The thing is, you could do minor kind of editing, but if that makeup is really messed up and it's really sweating, it's not much
Nothing
you
you
can
can
do.
do.
Because if you try to edit too much, you're gonna see like something that's like totally been done to the pictures. And like my style of editing is like I want the bride to look like naturally pretty. I don't want it to look like I've changed her whole face.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a word. We're getting married, like I said, in May in Mexico, and it's outdoors. It's 100% outdoors. And I sweat standing. Like right now, I can just walk outside and I don't even have to do an exercise or run or anything. I'll just start sweating if I'm out there
What,
long enough.
what
So
some brides do, they have a makeup artist on site
that's
to
me.
just touch them up after the ceremony.
Yep, that's me. I'm bringing mine actually.
Yeah, so you're
She's
good.
coming, and she just already knows that that's 100% what we're going to be doing. It's lots of weight, spray, towel, redo something. Yeah, it's going to be necessary. So,
All right, so you sound like you're good.
I'm working on it. I just want to make sure I'm doing it the right way, and that we can hear from a professional that this is right, and I'm not just completely crazy. So, um. So I'm sorry. Back to just really quick with the first look. Do you find that people are less emotional during the ceremony if they do the first look?
I think it depends on the person because you generally are people who aren't really that emotional at all. So I think it's on the people because they still, even after the first look, they have the emotions there.
Right.
And then you coming down the aisle, that's when, they still get those emotions again because it's a different feeling. But I would say coming down the aisle for the first time, probably the emotions would be stronger because you're actually coming down the aisle. But like I've seen grooms and brides like cry both even after the first look, and they still cry again coming down the aisle. So, like I said, it depends on how emotional the people are.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on the unplugged ceremonies?
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone should do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, your people nowadays, they got the phones, the iPads coming on the art. Let me give you an example. This is one of the things I hate the most. Let me give you an example. So the bride and the bride's coming on the aisle with her father. Instead of people like cheering and have their hands up and real happy and excited, everyone has their phone on the aisle. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like some people are like actually trying to set up their phone in the pictures. Some people have like big iPads, and it doesn't really give that flattering look. It's much better. It's much better when the bride and the father's coming down the aisle. Everyone is looking at the bride.
Right.
You know, and because I don't like nowadays, I don't even understand like you would take a picture, and some people aren't even looking at the bride coming down the aisle.
Yes, that is so
So
true.
that's weird to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. We're planning on doing that. But for me, I just feel like people are taking these pictures and then what are you even gonna do with it? Like, what are you gonna do with the photos for real? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just really
Snapchat,
interesting.
Snapchat, and Facebook.
Well, yeah, I guess yeah, snapping people's weddings and stuff. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
So you do recommend the unplugged
yeah,
ceremony?
definitely.
Have you ever seen people ask for it to be unplugged and then you ever catch anybody not
Yeah, so they
doing
have
it?
that too. But the best way to really make sure it's unplugged, you have to officiate and address it before everything starts, and then you have to officiate and address it again as the bride's coming down the aisle. Right before she comes down the
Oh.
aisle. So once again, we would like everyone to put away their phones and really enjoy the moment as the bride comes down the aisle, something like that.
Ah,
So if
okay.
he like people are much more, they'll be scared to like if you when he addresses it first, some people will play it, they forget, right?
Right.
But if you address it again right before she comes down the aisle, it's like nothing you can say
Yeah,
after that.
so there's no reason for you not to do
Yeah,
that at all.
yeah. And then people have like signs too, so you have like unplugged wedding signs as they come in. So all these are stuff that you can do to make sure like it's gonna be unplugged.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, what is what's the largest destination wedding that you've ever done? Around about how many guests were there?
Um, I would say I would say probably like 350. The
And what about the smallest?
smallest, just two people.
Two
That was
people.
last week at a wedding. Just the bride and the groom last week
Yeah, where were they?
in Bimini, Bahamas.
Ah, in your spot.
Yeah.
That sounds beautiful. I can't wait to see those photos. I'm sure you'll be sharing.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you so very much. I'm going to ask you one more question and then I will let you go. Well, technically, it's going to be two questions, but it's really one. So, so what advice would you offer to a Desti couple and that's getting their photographer and or just actually that's just having a wedding in general, having a destination wedding, and it can't be anything cliche like just enjoy the day because it's yours or it goes by so quickly and that kind of stuff. It's got to be something real and good.
So you said, what advice do I give destination couples
Mm-hmm.
before their wedding? That's after they pick their vendors and everything, or before everything?
Whenever, at any point.
Yeah, I would just basically say, do a lot of research. You know, talk to people that already had their destination wedding and kind of just get, an idea of what they experience. And then also look for experienced vendors. I mean, obviously some of the vendors that you're gonna have to use are gonna be local to the place, but you can find vendors outside as well. Because I noticed like with the vendors at a lot of these places, like they have like a lot of package photographers and a lot of package vendors.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those stuff aren't really, they give you good prices, but they aren't really, that good quality. So, like I say, you just got to do your research. Because even like with the photography to some of these places, and they give you those package deals, they have like a lot of hidden stuff in there. So when you pay for your pictures, then they say, "Hey, here's the fee to get them digitally." Like they'll charge you for your wedding, and then it'll be like another fee to get the pictures later on, and then to get certain ones printed, you know,
Right. That
there'll be
is true.
another fee, and then they'll say, "Hey, the pictures that we're giving you is low resolution, and so you can't really do anything much with the pictures." Just like kind of crazy stuff like that. So, like I say, you just have to do like a lot of research and make sure, because like people know, like any, like it's almost like when you visit any country and then someone comes in that doesn't really know about it, they try to, some people try to take advantage a little bit. So
Right.
it's similar to that.
That is a really great one. Thank you. I've seen that. So that makes complete sense. They're going to take the photos, but you don't actually get the photos, or if you want to have them on a USB, or if you want them to be edited and pretty. And yeah, they do. They try to nickel and dime you sometimes.
Yeah,
So you have options out there. Don't feel limited.
definitely.
Thank you. And now if you could just tell everyone how they can find you.
All right, you can find me on all my social medias at Stanlo Photography, Stanlo Photography. My website is www.stanlophotography.com, and that's basically it. Everything is Stanlo Photography on every platform.
Thank you. And are you still available? You have any availability for the rest of this year going on? Are you booked?
I'm booked for this year, so next
Wow.
year I'm taking bookings for 2018.
Okay. Okay. I see you.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for your time. We definitely appreciate you.
no problem, and thank you so much for having me.